Joe Jonas put out his new album, Music for People Who Believe in Love. Resident Jonas Brothers stan here.
Joe Bro.
I am a Joe Bro fan. Best
Through
pop
and
punk
through,
band.
You bleed Jonas Brothers.
Best pop punk band to come out of New Jersey are the Jonas Brothers, and I will say that with my chest every single time. First couple of albums are pop punk. Argue with a wall.
I think if you say that, if you step outside and you say that, you're gonna get like jumped by like 1,000 people.
I'm not gonna say it at a
flock.
pop punk show. I'm gonna say it at a Jonas Brothers show.
You're gonna say it at a Jonas Brothers show, or quietly to yourself in a dark room.
During a Joe Jonas review on my podcast, where the target audience is Jonas Brothers fans,
and where you can delete comments that disagree with you.
If you disagree with me, argue with a wall. How's that sound? Jonas Brothers, best
I'm gonna hide your
pop punk
fucking
band
comment.
to come out of New Jersey. I mean that with my chest. Big Jonas Brothers fan right here. And it's been a minute since we've gotten Joe Jonas solo music. The last time that we got Joe Jonas solo music, I was a youngin', still into the very much into the Jonas Brothers. That was my group. This was 2011, a long time ago. I remember getting the album. I think it was for my birthday, the CD. I got it as some sort of gift. I want to say birthday, but I don't know when it came out. Actually, I can just check. Let's see. It could have been birthday because it came out October. Birthday's November. Close enough. So yes, I remember that quite vividly. I remember not really liking the album because I wanted Jonas Brothers music, and Joe Jonas didn't make Jonas Brothers music when he went on his own. But now I'm a lot older and still a fan of the Jonas Brothers and Joe Jonas, and went into this album with an open mind, and I think it's awesome. I do. A little long, yes. Some moments on the record that feel like they could have been axed in favor of a slightly shorter album, for sure. The album clocks in at 45 minutes. Does it really have to clock in at 45 minutes? No, but I feel like that is, the overall vibe that we come away with when we listen to most pop albums is it's good for the most part, but there's some fat that could be trimmed off. It's almost
lot of fat. Yeah.
It's almost like they just focus on the number of songs and how long they can make the record, and not necessarily the quality of all the songs, although I think that there is a decent amount of quality on this record, ultimately why I'm coming away enjoying it. But there were some moments, especially in the middle half of the album, that I was like, yeah, this could not exist, and I would like this could have been a 30-minute listen, and I could be on my merry way, and it would have been nice, condensed, all hits, and we could have moved on.
All killer, no filler.
All killer, no filler. I like the way it opens with Woven. I think it sets the tone for the album. I also think, like, in a weird way, it kind of fits the cover art, like the just the vibe of the cover art and the song, the way the song sounds. I'm not one to typically connect those two things together, connect the picture with the way that words and sounds sound.
Type shit.
Yeah, type shit. But I'm doing it for this one. Again, big Jonas Brothers fan. And then Parachute and Work It Out. I think that those are a very good way to open the record. Big fan of Heart by Heart and Honey Blonde, especially. I'm digging Honey Blonde. Velvet Sunshine with Franklin Jonas, because shout out, finally there's shout out Frankie. He makes his way onto the album. A welcome addition for sure. Sip Your Wine is honestly probably my favorite. It's a little bit on the weirder side sonically, but I like it because it stands out. It's catchy. I like the chorus on it, and like I said, it's a standout track in the sense that it's a little bit on the weirder side, and but it doesn't stray too weird, so I fuck with that. What We Are is another banger, and then the way it closes with Constellation is a nice way to kind of tie it all together. Overall, I thought the record was pretty solid. And I feel like this sound with I'm obviously two separate things, but comparing it for the sake of my own brain, the Jonas Brothers have went a little bit more of a pop route, so the Joe Jonas solo album, also obviously being in that pop lane, makes a little bit more sense now than when I thought the Jonas Brothers were, God only knows what, back in 2011. Pop punk now, the best pop punk band to come out of New Jersey, by the way. and he came out with a pop album, and their songs had guitars in them, and those songs did not. A little bit confusing.
You're like, what's happening here?
But I feel like the lanes have kind of closed in, so this kind of just feels like an extension, and not so much like it's obviously its own thing. He's having fun with it. A lot of great feature pulls throughout the album as well. But yeah, it's like, if you're a fan of the Jonas Brothers and what they're doing currently, but you had no idea that Joe Jonas put out an album because it was delayed a significant amount, so, and then it just kind of came out with like, nope, I didn't see shit about it. It just showed up on my Spotify, and that was how I knew it came out. I didn't see shit about shit. Don't worry, I follow all the fucking accounts. I should have known. You know, if you're a fan of what they're doing, had no idea, it makes sense. It's close. Yeah. It's a lot closer than it was. So you should check it out. All that to say, I like the album. Glory's looking at me like she didn't like the album, so I'm concerned.
I know. Yeah. It's a pop. It's a pop record. It's Joe Jonas. I've never been the biggest. I'm not a Joe bro.
No, you're not.
When I bleed, I don't bleed Joe bro. I don't bleed the Jonas Brothers. You do. That's what I do.
I bleed that Joe bro blood.
That's honestly, hell yeah. It's nothing special to me. It's because I didn't. Fuck. If this was like, who did I grow up with? Damn, Harry Styles is washed now. Louis washed now. I was gonna try to compare it to One Direction, like, oh, if this was like no, they're all dropping Hot Dookie right now, and I call it Hot Dookie. I don't know. I thought it was just fine. It's a pop record, and it did its job. I mean, it has a lot of different elements in it. It covers a couple different genres. It's still in the pop, under the pop umbrella, but it's like there are a couple like very bright sunshiny tracks. There's like one or two moody ones. There's a fucking country song in the middle of the record, which I did not like, because it was like smack dab in the middle, and that was just, it didn't have to be there. We didn't need that. I really liked What We Are. I did enjoy Velvet Sunshine with Frankie. And I thought Constellation was good. I mean, I think it's just like it's a solid pop record. But I don't know. I want to see something different. Maybe it's just because like I also kind of still see him through that pop punk lens, where it's just kind of like, I don't know. I want more oomph. I want, like, he's been in the music industry so long. I want him to get more creative. I want him to step outside the box. I want him to do something that's like, oh shit, Joe Jonas did what? It fell into, what I expected, and not what I wanted.
The lanes coming together so seamlessly, it's almost like it is kind of the safe route of like just kind of making an extension of what he's doing with the other two. So yeah, I get that, and I definitely feel that. Hence why I latch on to some of the more experimental, if we want to use that word, experimental-ish songs that don't fit into the typical pop umbrella that go throughout this album. Because like you said, it's littered with songs that don't fit under that umbrella. Although the record, all encompassing, is a pop album, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think it was terrible. Like I said, I liked it for the most part. There are some songs that I could have went without about 15 minutes of this. We condensed it down to a nice 30-minute listen, and we got a straight up pop banging album. But I digress. Album was all right. Makes sense that it wasn't your favorite. You're maybe not the target audience. Like I said, I bleed that Joe bro blood.
I was gonna say, yeah, through and through.
Through and through.
Through and through.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.